Hello viewers, you're watching QTV and we're broadcasting from our headquarters here on Kairaba Avenue here in the Gambia. My name is Aliu Sise and it's now time for your weekly State of Affairs program. Well, KUS, a new illegal drug into the existing illicit drugs, is destroying the lives of many users, particularly young people with potential. Unlike most of the drugs, the effects of taking KUS appear to be more deadly. Security is battling to win the war against this drug. But with KUS, or spice as it is called, spreading faster than expected, how can our country win the war against KUS? Well, joining me to answer these questions, I have in the studio Pa Bojang, Commissioner Pa Bojang, who is the chair of the KUS Task Force Committee. Mr. Bojang, good to have you on the program.
Good evening, sir.
Also on the program, I have Honorable Musa Baji, National Assembly member for Talinding constituency and also a member of the National Assembly Standing Committee on Defense and Security. Honorable Baji, good to have you on the program.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, Mr. Bojang, I will start with you as the chair of the task force committee set up to spearhead the war against KUS. To start with, I mean, what do we know about this drug?
Thank you for that genuine question. KUS is normal drug as any other drug. In real definition, it's a cannabis indica found within the region of Afghanistan to Pakistan area. It is hybrid type of cannabis, which most of the time was normally found outskirts within the mountains of Afghanistan area. Okay. But notwithstanding, the recent KUS discovered within our region is totally in negative to the one we know of. Because this KUS found within our region, or particularly in the Gambia, is a synthetic cocktail KUS. Synthetic means it's no more natural product. It's added with so many type of chemical unknown and not variables, simply because it is made in a clandestine laboratory that make it more dangerous than any other drugs within our sub-region.
And talking about, I mean, how dangerous it is. I mean, you talk about, I mean, Afghanistan, but I mean, where are they made? Where is this drug made and by whom?
Actually, there is three type of, I think I should start from, there is three varieties of KUS. Within our region, we have what the cannabis sativa. Within Morocco, we have the rhodiolis. Around Afghanistan, you have this indica. This cannabis travel within because people consume it. Yes, it's illicit within our laws, but other side of the country is not illegal. There is what they call quantity consumption. They will be subjected for a certain amount of quantity
you
that
mean
we use.
Other side of the country or
Yes.
other side of the continent?
Continent.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. They have their laws that guide them to use it, that make this product to be seen. And moreover, cannabis is one of the oldest drug in the world. If it is found in Afghanistan, people are traveling. And as much as people are traveling, this drug will move because it's a trade product and it's a demand in most of the youthful age. That make it to be available within the West Africa region. But when you look at the KUS in the Gambia, may differ with the KUS in Sierra Leone, and the KUS in Sierra Leone may differ with the KUS in Liberia, where we have this problem. And the KUS in Liberia will differ with the KUS in Ghana, simply because when we look at the case definition of those who are affected with KUS, it's different with those who are affected. The case definition of the Gambia differ with the case definition of Liberia and other countries. That will indicate, give you the signal that the added cocktails are different with other countries.
And okay, let me bring in Honorable here. Honorable, you have heard from Commissioner Pa Bojang just to take us to what, I mean, this KUS is all about. I mean, as a National Assembly member and of course a member of the Committee on Defense and Security, last week, I mean, you summoned the heads of the security institutions just to hear from them as to, I mean, what is being done to address the issue of the KUS. Could you just share with us, I mean, why did the committee thought it was important to summon the security chiefs now?
Thank you very much, Aliu. as the representative of the body, the country, we are primarily responsible to ensure that the welfare of the people are taken care of in any country. Legislators, that's the primary function, whether it has to do with law or it has to do play an oversight on institutions to ensure that people live safely and then do in a safe environment. Now, when this issue arise in the country, there was this. Everybody was alarmed in the country through social media and all news outlets. There are footages of people, our young people, now trying to have a taste of this new type of drug that came into the market. And as a result of that, it was raised at the plenary, meaning the parliament as a body. Yeah. And then we also concerned, and it is a threat to our existence, because this thing affects the cream of our society, which are the youths. So there was a resolution from the general body that tasked the defense and security to do its utmost to work with security apparatus to ensure that we curb this menace, because it is attacking the fabric of the society, which are the youths. So as a result of that resolution, we summoned the security chiefs to diagnose the issue, know about the cause, and know what are the challenges they are having and what steps are they taking to ensure that we arrest the situation. And that was the main purpose. And from there, we also look at it and draw up resolutions as to what we expect the security institutions to do to ensure that every Gambian we live in a safe society. And in that briefing also, we realize that the security institutions already are beginning to understand the channel of this coups. They have also identified the origin as far as Gambia is concerned. Where are we getting our supply from, and who actually are involved in the trading of because they have effected certain arrests. You understand? And then we know the data is not so much significant, but it's alarming. And it's good that we act on time. And at that point, they have about 87 cases. And among these 87 cases, 56 are all Gambians. 24 are non-Gambians, So, and then, but what is so concerning is that the age distribution, about 85% of these people are between 35 to 18. You understand? So from that updates, we now have to know what are their challenges, which they have all raised, and then we have to know what are their how they are coordinating. Like you've seen the task force here. What kind of efforts are they doing to collaborate to ensure that the fight against this coups penetrating the society? And then we are pleased that so far the efforts they are doing is paying dividend. What we need to do now is how do we boost the securities to ensure that they maintain that momentum to ensure that this coups does not penetrate.
And talking about statistics, I understand. When you look at the annual season statistics for 2020, there was no season of coups in that particular year. But we have seen in 2021, there was a case involving a Sierra Leonean national who was arrested with 7 grams of coups in the Kanfi municipality. Yes. And of course, the annual seizure statistic for 2022 also shows that there was no seizure for coups in 2022. But as a task force committee, what's your mandate? What is your role in this whole overall war against coups?
Yeah, thank you. The task force comprises of the all security and health, Ministry of Youth and Sport, and other relevant authorities. We look at holistically because it's a multi-sectoral approach. Okay. We look at the clinical aspect of it and interdictions. The clinical aspect of it, those who are already been victimized, how are we going to help them? Because when you are suffering from this incident of coups consumption, you may have some mental issues or medical implications. We have what we collect data from the clinicians, and look at it where the prevalence is on, where our concern should be. That's the reason why even in the Ramadan we are here on advocacy outreach, communication, because it's a behavioral issue. Yes, it contains criminal, but the one consuming is a patient. He is the one who is already been affected, is a patient. He needs medical attention, he needs support. That's where the task force look at it first and say, before we do anything, let's prepare ourselves with instruments, tools to know where we start from. We develop our checklist, we develop our case definitions, our consent note, our TOR, and our survey tools. When we are done with that thing, what we first did was, let's meet the relevant authorities. We started from Parliament. We met the head of the security, Honorable Sidinjai. We told him we saw our concerns, because we have constraints, concerns also. And we told him when we're supposed to start our operations. Then we meet all the security chiefs. Right now, it's only this SIS, head of SIS, and security advisor.
That's the NIA?
Yes, yeah. That we didn't meet yet. After that, we want to meet all the MPs through their line of communications, because we don't want to be at their jurisdictions and they start asking, what is your role here? Why are you here? Because we want to work hand in glove with the community. Because as a task force, we are less than 50. The Gambian population is more than 2 million. Being the Honorable MP and the councillor represent that population. If we deal with those people, we are dealing that with the population. And we have a role with a time frame that our task force will be within 6 months, and we have to write a report and submit it to relevant authorities. But we have weekly meetings. Now, thank God, last week, WHO also sent an expertise. We are reviewing our tools. We are saying by next week, we will see how best we will start our operations in town.
So it means as we speak, the committee is not doing that much?
Yeah, because we are on very tight financially, because we request funds from all stakeholders, be police, NDA. It is government task force, and it was not budgeted. It's because of the situations, and they say we are technical working group. The budget line, we have to take it from. We decided to say that every institution that have a rep should contribute for us to start.
But Honorable, one will ask, we already have an agency responsible for tackling drug, that's the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, and you hear him talking about the issue of finance for the task force committee. Isn't this something that the Drug Law Enforcement Agency could have just done? Or do you necessarily need a task force in the first place? Your view?
Yes, I think
do we need a task force in the first place?
We do.
Okay.
We do, because you realize drug is an expensive enterprise. So equally also, fighting drug requires a lot of funds. Yeah. So, but not only that, it requires coordinated efforts from all the securities and even health personnel he mentioned here, especially with these schools. So there was need for it. And then, sometimes contingency funds are not sometimes they don't have it. Okay. Some of these, as an agency is subvented, Drug Law Enforcement Agency is subvented. They are doing good in terms of what they are doing in their operations. But this, like it happened somewhere along in the middle of the year or at the end of the year, when activities that have been budgeted have already been dispensed with. And then sometimes some of these things, you don't have contingency funds for that. So, but they alone cannot do it, because as a body, they don't have certain structures like arm wing. They don't have certain manpower as well. So that's why it will be necessary for the PIU and other police or security outfits to support them in terms of manpower, so that they boost their operations, because they have intensified their operations along all the hideouts where they suspect that these activities will be taking place, and that requires a lot of personnel. So they have to collaborate with other security apparatus to increase their manpower, and not only manpower, to increase their fleet of vehicles to maintain a sustained patrol within a particular period of time. And this also requires also some in terms of demand for fuel and other things.
So Whose responsibility is it to provide these funds? I mean, and then what are you going to use these funds for? Maybe someone watching is asking, yes.
We tax all stakeholders. Okay. We pledge to them. They said they were going to contribute. As of yesterday, I engaged my DG. I'm from drug law enforcement. Okay. And he said they will take care of the fueling. Okay. Because we have so many activities. We want to conduct survey by taking those people, their samples, those who are affected. Because up till today, I am the head of the laboratory also. Up till today, we don't know the real composition of coals in the Gambia. Because we need a sophisticated analysis, GC machine, to do pure quantitative analysis, which is not available in the Gambia, neither Senegal, because we did a force analysis, which was conducted by me and my personnel. We did a parameters, we did TLC, if the science or students will understand it. We did it. The parameter results is the same at what we send. We send a sample to Senegal, it became the same results, similarly. Now we are suggesting to send it outside, and not even in Ghana, but either South Africa, Rwanda, or UK. Because we need to know what is the composition of this particular drug. Because you cannot use Sierra Leone's results and apply it in the Gambia, because even the case studies are different. The case definitions are different. If the case definitions are different, automatically indicate that there is a different products which is different from the one they are using in the other country.
But do we have scenarios where you have some of these coals coming from Sierra Leone, for example?
Yeah. Statistics indicate most of, because first big arrest, our traffic arrest was from Sierra Leone. Okay. Nyamanar, first arrest, second was Bundung Garage.
Okay.
And the third arrested by the police was Sierra Leoneans also. But to our surprise, now the table have totally turned. Okay. Now the involvement is more of a Gambian. Okay. Because it's a business. If you want to know criminal, look at the idol's view. You just come and give them something, they market it and make money. As the Honorable Baji just mentioned, it's a lucrative market. It's just like how we deal with our phones and others. That's how drug is. Every year they bring series. Before this course, let's go back to history. There was what they call the benzodiazepine, these raws and other things. It was in the market to an extent, it disappeared. When these raws disappeared, what was there in town? Tramadol. Tramadol was a tramadol. We come up with a very strict policies in the pharmacies. It disappeared, silenced down. What they bring? Gao. That's the ecstasies. Now because addiction have a level, they make to that level, they are no more, it's no more a need for them. They need something higher than that.
Stronger.
Yeah. This course appeared, as you said, first in 2021. Okay. When this case was arrested, the person using, we see that the market was silenced with immediate effect. They have to go and clandestine laboratory, look at what people will be, the more addictive products added to that course to make people to be as a demand. That leads to all what we have today.
And Honorable, with the fact that now the course, like you have heard from Commissioner Bojan, now that the course, it takes different ingredients to make this course, do you think this will in any way make it impossible for us to stamp out the course now?
I think we can, because if you look at the kind of arrest seizures they've made in these few days when the issue emerged, if we sustain that kind of operation and then we intensify our control at the borders, because already it is known that predominantly the supply chain comes from a particular country. That is known. And sometimes that most of the people who have been caught with it, the nationals are also known. So it's going to be very easy now to track it for as far as their intelligence is, because that's why it's important they collaborate. Because when we invite them, they have an intelligence unit as well, but also NIA also were invited.
The Director General was there.
Yes, he was there. So police were there. So in order to cope this, you need sufficient intelligence, and this is why the participation of the public also is crucial. You cannot fight drug in the absence of cooperation from the community. because the people live in societies. They live in compounds. So they are not angels. People must report to them. That's why even in that meeting, the issue of a free hotline was raised. Do they have that? If they have that, is it decentralized? Because people must have access. If they have information, they must have access to reach out to them, and the response must be seen. So these are some of the things. So the responsibility, the commitment from our communities, our societies also, to provide information, tips to the DLEC or any security to ensure that wherever this thing can be harbored, or whoever is dealing, wherever they suspect, they provide this information so that they act on it. So because it's not going to be one way. The securities cannot work in isolation. They have to have the complete collaboration of and cooperation of the community or the society in general. So when we do that, we can cope it.
And Commissioner, I mean, with the course, like I said, I mean, it's now in several forms, and it seems, I mean, the dynamics are changing. So wouldn't that make the job difficult for you people?
Actually, not to that extent, because we anticipate it. When you are dealing with synthetic products, you anticipate they change the formula every now and then. Because when you look at even cocaine in town, you will see the same thing. Because for cocaine, when you started from base, HCl to crack and all things, but they also adulterate it to meet the demand because it's high in price and everything. That's what we expect from Kus. But thank God, to your surprise, interdiction is going down, clinical side is going down. Because, as I say, it contains two things. It's a criminal issue, but it's a behavioral issue. If the consumer is warned twice, he have that fear that taking this thing, it became a national issue and people are dying on it. Let me not. Then the seller will lose the market and he have to move to another where the market demands is. We appreciate the media and we thank the media that we have contributed immensely for this fight. I think that's it. Because this drug, we see it as an incident. It was not a criminal problem as such, but it was a national incident. At the initial state, we put what we call observatory level. And automatically, when we now see it's a target product. Now, when it's at a target level, we decided to form this task force, working with the security, the Ministry of Health, EDC. EDC look at everything and say this is a new diagnosis. Because when you go to hospital, the first thing they will do is they look at you, have signs and symptoms and the complaint. If you give out a new complaint different from normal symptoms or signs, it became an alarming issue. And EDC will start their investigation. When EDC they look at is this case definition ever registered within our medical facilities? No. Then it became a new case. That's what we call case definition. You look at what are the scenes, what is complained as in the Gambia, a drop tongue, swollen tongue, restlessness, on a loss of appetite and all those things. Because we hear our case, we say, why are the muscles are dropping? Why the muscles are weakening? In Sierra Leone, they just be what they call dosing like this. Because we see there was one in Manja, he was saying he was swimming in the pool. That course and the other course are different. That guy is hallucinating. He was hallucinating. You automatically know that the chemicals he is using is different from the one whose tongues are dropping down. You have to do those variables and understand what is the chemicals. That's why we are working with international community to facilitate for us to take these samples outside the Gambia to do everything. It's very expensive for government to do so.
And Honorable, are you surprised that we don't have the laboratory to do some of this testing, these experiments?
Yeah, not surprised at all. You know, not only around, you know, generally we don't have those sophisticated labs. You know, and then we are learning as you know, we are from that AKI issue, health issues, and then there is another that also shows how weak our test laboratories, how the challenge in terms of those equipments. So I'm not surprised, but it shows everybody that there is need to have those sophisticated labs in the country in general, because the way we are going, we can foresee whatever happen, or anything that can happen in the future. So it is time that Gambia is well equipped in terms of what he said. Even Senegal, neighboring country, is not able to provide them the information they need, the kind of testing they need. So what do we now have to do as a country to ensure that we have those apparatus at our doorstep? Because as we go in, we should expect more of this kind in the future. You don't have to wait until they emerge and then you start looking for solution. Prevention is better than cure. You know, so it is important that we have it.
And talking about the chemical composition, so the claim that the compost also includes ground human bones. So is this thing confirmed, or is it just a claim that people are making around?
You see, this 21st century, I don't know.
Yeah.
The social media is in control of everything. Because even
everyone has their opinion about this
analysis, their analysis. I don't know of tomorrow, but as of now, the one we are, because there is a task force, West African Revenue Task Force that is looking at it, and which I am part of. There is nothing that shows that it's high level of sulfur, because bones, you are talking of sulfur. They are giving you tramadol, ephedrine, and other things. When in the Gambia, people, you know, you may not deny it, I don't say no to that, but there is no scientific evidence that shows the presence of human bones in that course within the region. I don't see that of Ghana, but Liberia, Sierra Leone, there is no indication as of now. Maybe, you know, as far as it's a clandestine product, the one you arrested, that's the one you analyze. The one not before, you cannot analyze it. I may not say no to that, but scientifically, the product that we are seized and sent for analysis, there is no presence of human bone or sulfur high level.
So what are you doing with the people that have been arrested so far, and of course the course that have been intercepted?
We allow the law to take his place. Yeah, because we have the legal department, and they have its own legal department. Well-trained lawyers. When he's arrested, sample will be collected, sent to my office, we do analysis. The outcome of the analysis, confirm, and the case file will be compiled and sent to the legal affairs after authorization for legal action. But we also consider if you are an abuser and you are affected, we raise a red flag that this guy should not be prosecuted, need medical attention. Our approach differs with the entire West African approach, because we put health first before criminal. Because these people we are dealing with, they are our fellow Gambians. They are either by circumstances to involve in this thing, because peer health issues cause certain problems. We cannot judge them all that because they were found in jails or other things. We have to engage them to understand their problem. If that's their first time offenders and you see is manifesting symptoms that are abnormal, you need medical attention. That's how we're going to handle it.
Honorable, aside from peer influence, like you mentioned, what do you think could be other factors, that is pushing young people into drugs, particularly this course?
Actually,
considering how deadly this course is, yet you have people taking it.
I think there couldn't be any other factor, because I want to believe those that are using kush have already started using other drugs before the emergence of kush.
Okay.
So they are already addicted. I don't think a new person will just come and test kush. So it has been a way of life for them, and they like he said, they've been used to other types of drug, and at some point that drug will no longer satisfy their need, and they move to another one that gives them a high satisfaction. But I do know that there might be people who will take advantage of these schools to be traffickers, to just bring it and sell, whilst they are not even using it. They explore the market. You know, that we cannot discount that fact. It is a possibility, and the more we have people, more youths using it, the more you have people who will go for it and bring it to this country. So it is important that we have to break that barrier. But then the abuse of drugs has been here and then they have been battling with it even before the emergence of coups. Cannabis has been an issue. And then I see in our engagements, even in their briefings, we have, Gambia now is experiencing cannabis plantations in the country, in CRR, in CRR and North Bank and URR. Exactly. You understand? And then it was like 2 kilos they've arrested in a farm 2 years ago. Now 133 kilos have been seized from farms that have been cultivated in this country. So that also is alarming. So it seems, people are taking advantage of the fact that they are users and they also want to provide the market.
Interesting. Like I said last week, the National Assembly Standing Committee on Defense and Security summoned, security chiefs to hear from them as to what is being done to address the issue of course in this country. Well, Deputy Speaker C.D. Eskenjai is the chairman of the Standing Committee on Defense and Security. Let's take a listen to what he had to say during that meeting with the security chiefs.
Recent trends suggest that the Gambia serves as a farming, transit, and storage hub for various illicit substances, including cannabis sativa, cannabis resina, commonly known as hashish, skunk, cannabis, kush, cocaine, tramadol, and ecstasy. Some of these substances originating from other source countries and neighboring regions infiltrate our borders through various channels, including sea, land, and air routes. This illicit trade not only perpetuates criminality and criminal networks, but also poses a significant risk to our national security, safety, and stability. We'll all agree that the rate at which crimes are committed in our nations is alarming, with a disturbing surge in killings, murders, robberies, aggravated assault, and attacks on the lives and property of ordinary and hardworking Gambians and residents in the country. These reprehensible acts not only shatter lives, but also erode the trust and cohesion within our communities. The rise in such atrocities demands our urgent attention and decisive action. Furthermore, the proliferation of illicit drugs within our communities poses a grave threat, particularly to our youth. The unregulated circulation of these substances fuels addictions, destroys lives, and tears families apart. We cannot afford to turn a blind eye to this menace.
We cannot afford to turn a blind eye to this menace. That's the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, C.D. Eskenjai, who is also the chairman of the National Assembly Standing Committee on Defense and Security, during a meeting with the security chiefs to find answers to the prevalence of the course and, of course, other drugs in the country. But, Honorable, when you look at the issue of this drug, one will argue also perhaps all these cases are not as a result of just course. Maybe people are taking other drugs as well, Mr. Commissioner.
Yes, actually, yes. There are other drugs, like
maybe course is just the most popular one, but maybe people are still taking other drugs as well.
Even control, like he said, abuse of controlled drugs is also very rampant. This tramadol and other ecstasy he mentioned, it is rampant. But cannabis itself also is still a challenge, remains a challenge. So it's not just, although kush is more deadlier now, and what the consequence of abusing kush is deadlier. But then cannabis is also still a challenge, and they are doing a lot of steps. DILEC is doing a lot of successes in terms of seizures, but it's still a challenge because, like I said, they've discovered farmlands in the country. And then the seizure in 2023 also increased in terms of the type of so.
Yeah, because like you said, the total seizure quantity of course for 2023 amounted to 7 kilograms, 353 grams, 121 milligrams. The total number of cases was 79, with Gambians forming the majority of those arrested, followed by Sierra Leonean. Now, Commissioner, earlier on you mentioned about the issue of financing, because the task force, like you said, need resources to be able to effectively carry out your mandate. How is this affecting your work? I mean, your limitation? Because I know, I mean, when you talk about the coast, it's not just limited within the greater Banjul area. I mean, it's about the whole country.
Yeah.
So for now, where do you concentrate more?
Right now, we are more on engagement.
Okay.
Yesterday we have a meeting to constitute a subcommittee we call resource mobilization subcommittee.
Okay.
Because our target amount is $1.2 million.
Okay.
1.2 million, because we have to visit all the POEs.
Okay.
That is point of entry.
Okay.
And the community surrounding those areas, because we know that Gambia have a porous border. But if you engage the community, any foreign product they see within the community, they can communicate to the security apparatus at the border point.
So how much are you able to raise? 1.2 million? How much are you able to raise so far?
No, we have pledges. We didn't raise it. We have pledges as of now. That the Resource Mobilization Committee will start by Thursday to follow those pledges.
And Honorable, this is a national emergency. 1.2 million, they're still struggling depending on people who pledge to support it?
Yes, like
how,
you said.
How committed are we then?
In fact, that is why I believe one of the recommendations will include how do we finance, support, provide funds so that the security institution can execute these funds on to ensure that they work the way they should in order to cope this menace. And that will be one of the most important recommendations we make, resolutions in fact. You understand? Because at the end of this consultation, we'll come up with resolutions.
Yeah.
What do we actually need each of the ministries to do in terms of in this fight against this deadly menace? So I think our resolution towards the provision of funds for this will be crucial. And I don't want to preempt
exactly,
it, but I suspect it will be there because it's a challenge. Because you cannot, if you ask somebody to go do a work, you must provide the necessary tools and funds they need. And then it has come up during our engagement that they are seriously challenged, even in terms of, because DLEC, you know, their operations involve a lot of movements. Yeah. And now they have a lot of vehicles that are off-road. And they spend a lot of millions on maintenance annually because they do a lot of, and that also can affect their budget. So we need to see how we should work together to ensure that we provide the necessary ingredients to ensure that they do their work properly. So
are you saying, for example, if DLEC were really empowered as it should be done, there wouldn't be need to have even a task force in the first place? Yes, there wouldn't be need to have a task force, but there will still, you know, it will still be necessary sometimes. They will lead it. Whatever task force you create, DLEC should supposed to be the leaders. All these people should be backup, you know, because, you know, you realize sometimes also working together also has certain advantages. Yeah. Even though you can work alone on it, but, you know, all of these security institutions have their special expertise in terms of security. So when they come together, they're just going to boost the operations of DLEC. And this one really requires holistic approach. I mean, to yes. And I think we'll get along. We'll get along with it, and I'm hopeful because, and as it is now, even without funds, they're able to do certain positive impacts with regards to fighting against this thing with a little adjustments. And then we're not going to plan for, like you said, 6 months. We have to, for a longer term, you know, what are the gaps that we are going to address once and for all, so that we provide the necessary things that are necessary. That now bring me back to Kami. I mean, just take us through. I mean, make me understand who actually established this task force.
Actually, the task force, I think it was summoned by Chief of Staff. The Chief of Staff.
Chief of Staff.
Yes. Then
Chief of Staff. Who are you referring to?
Office of the President.
Okay, what cases?
Yeah. Then there was a press briefing that constituted the Ministry of Health, DLEC, and the police, and security advisor and Ministry of Interior. After the press briefing, they authorized us to create this technical working group. The technical working group started as a technical working group to look at the issue in general. We didn't limit ourselves on criminal matters. We didn't limit ourselves on health matters, because I, as the head of the task force, communicate with the head of operations to give us, because all drug cases will end up in my office. But we will have the data, statistics data, from regional commissioners, compile it, and look at the medical line list, and look at, then you can know the prevalence, where, who are the users, and where is the traffic focused on. That will help us in our survey and our sample collections.
Well, I mean, Chief of Staff, if you are watching, we appreciate your interest in the fight against the coast. I mean, the committee is here. I mean, they need $1.2 million to be able to, accomplish, their mandate. I hope, you will also help facilitate that so that they can get the funds, because time is running out and this is an emergency issue. And I hope the President also will try to intervene so they will get the money that you need to be able to carry out your work, because it's very important. Honorable, let's look at the issue of the legislation, the laws that has to do with drugs. Do you think, I mean, we need more laws, or we just need to make sure the laws that we have here are implemented?
Yes, we need to implement the laws, and the backlog of cases at the level of the courts. I think that is a challenge, and it's a challenge. But in terms of legal instruments to fight against drug, that one it has never been raised in the meetings, in our consultations with them. All what have been raised is the issue of the lab that they needed, and the issue of need for more funding and more mobility, and then those are the critical issues, because we have laws in place to prosecute, to send people behind bars when found with some of these illegal things. Those laws are there, but the challenges are how do we now, get them to book. That is the issue. But then legally, we are not sort of laws that can take care of the drug issues.
Commissioner, do you agree with him?
Yeah, actually, the Drug Control Act, as of 2203, is fit for purpose as of now. Okay. The only thing we are looking at, but I think they are looking at there is a halt on the act also, they are looking at it, because some of them are forced offenders. They need to community service and other things. They will feel it. But I think that is a legal issue which I have not FA with, because I am more of a science student. Yes. Yeah. But the law as of now is fit for purpose.
Interesting. And when it comes to the issue of collaboration, I mean, Honorable Aaron mentioned the need for all the security forces to collaborate, but equally the role of our community and, of course, families in the community in terms of their role in addressing the issue of these schools. But are you impressed as a task force with the level of cooperation among the security forces?
If there is any word to say more than, I will use it. Because even the request we made, nobody as a member from the security should be below the rank of superintendent. Because we want, whatever we discuss at the task force meeting, you have the authority to communicate directly to your authority. You have that authority to communicate directly to your leadership. Because if you are ranked below that rank, it means chain of command before it reaches there, it delays communications. And as at now, police, there is a commissioner. Army, lieutenant colonel. Immigration, superintendent. I am a commissioner. Then it's only SIS, because even GRA, they give a senior collector. And you go to Ministry of Health, there is no junior staff. A regional director, program directors, and directors. It became an executive task force, because whatever we discuss there, we speak on behalf of our authorities. You can go back and say, sir, this is what I said. And I think, I cannot go and say, no, change it. Let's go and see how we're going to massage it, and it fit for the purpose of this thing. That's it. But that's because the composition of the task force is a very task force. And seeing the role of WHO in the task force, one can say is another plus. You see, our neighbors' countries, I don't want to call it, because their approach was they put criminal arresting force than looking at the health aspect of it. That caused all this delay. To an extent, they have to call it a state of emergency. We have no death at hospital level caused by coups, going by statistics. I didn't say it, but going by statistics avail to us. All death we have, it was 2, then 2 again. All are brought in deaths. That means they don't manage it properly at home. Until he died, they rush it to the hospital. We have communicate and try to communicate day in, day out that any case of coups, manage it and take data. But the delay of this survey may also cause another negative impact, because one may not know what kind of chemical they use. We need to take their urine, send it to the lab. That will give us a preliminary information. Then you will know the antidote for that chemicals. Because it may raise and cool down, but chemicals may internal damages. That's why we decided that we have to form this tax subcommittee, resource mobilization task force, headed by Commissioner Kinti, to go for these funds. If the funds are available, the first thing is to meet those who are affected, collect samples, meet those at the ghettos, talk to them, direct advocate with them, have communication with them, try to make them aware of the dangers of coups, and meet the community through the honorable MPs and their councillors. Will meet those communities, communicate to them the dangers of coups and the adverse effect to our economy.
Are you saying we are not doing well in this aspect as far as creating awareness about the effects of coups?
No, we are doing, but it's limited because, message and messenger differ. Okay. If you are sending message, the message you send in the Greater Banjul area will differ from the message you're going to send in Basse, or the one you send in even within Kombo, Kololi, will differ with Talindi. Talindi is a community.
And even the channel that you use to send that message as well.
That's what I'm talking of. You can go to Talinding, you tell him he'll call Baji Kunda, Jokunda, and they will respond. But if you go to Kololi or Bijulo or Bursui, an estate, who am I going to call? You need to use another channel to communicate. These are the issues we look in, all those things. And we need to communicate. Because it's not a disease that is direct contaminated, but it's a behavioral disease. The one using it, if you can communicate and you understand the dangers attached to the substance I'm consuming, even he's using it, he will be mindful of how to use it. At the end of the day, the fear, psychologically, he will distance himself from that substance.
And Honorable, what do you think should be the role of the National Assembly members in creating awareness?
Like he said a very important thing. We are representatives of the people. Not only at the National Assembly, but we all come from society, we come from constituencies, and people listen to us. And it's important that our message in terms of the problems associated with these coups should be very clear, loud and clear to the community. And then we should be very proactive in engaging, even whereas like he said, every National Assembly should be concerned and equally inform yourself with regards to the dangers and all the channels, everything, information associated with this. Like he said, they are going to consult National Assembly members, adequately provide them all the information necessary, so that National Assembly member also can take it upon himself or herself to engage his community. They have structures, they have community elders. It's very easy when the National Assembly goes back to his constituency to talk to them. And I think their role there is very crucial and important. And then, at the level of Parliament also, we should continue to advocate, to strengthen support for the security institutions, which I believe every National Assembly knows that resources are never adequate, but security is never expensive. If you think it's expensive, try insecurity. Yeah. People will say. So we should ensure that we give maximum support to the security sector to ensure that we have a safe society.
And Kami, do we have rehabilitation centers for people who perhaps addict or they abuse, this course or any other drug? Do we have rehabilitation centers in the country?
No. We have virtual because we are trained, but we don't have infrastructure. Okay. But thank God ECOWAS have already released funds. Sooner or later, the construction will take place. Probably in the next 2-3 weeks, the contract will be awarded and the project will start.
Honorable?
Yes.
Seems we have no rehabilitation.
Yes, I almost forgot about that, but it was one of it is among their recommendations that this is something they needed to have, because like I said, they consider some of these people not as criminals but as patients Now, how do they observe them, to ensure that they get a treatment that can bring them back to society? You understand? So they really need a rehabilitation lab. It is among their recommendations, and I think it is something that we should do our best to have.
I understand we're running out of time, but Commissioner, finally, what's your message? I mean, to Gambians and anyone watching this program as far as the issue of the cause and concern, and of course, I mean, supporting the work of the Task Force Committee.
Actually, my concern, my only advice would say that let everybody be a police and be a medical officer of his own. Anything you see and is abnormal within your family or in your community, communicate to the nearest police station or health facility, because it's something that we are not used to, and it is causing havoc within our society. If somebody, I know, all of us know that we are living in a community. Somebody somewhere else knows that somebody smokes cannabis, but the normal cannabis and the cause are different. If you see any other signs manufactured by those who are consuming it, please don't manage it at home. If there is any complications, don't manage it at home. Rush the person to the nearest health facilities. There are specialists, there are experts who can manage these cause incidents.
And Honorable, your final
yes, I think
those
yes,
watching?
It's a concern for everybody. Just want to reassure the public that from our engagement with the securities, we've seen the commitment and the strategies they have put in place. We show when we accompany them, we'll be able to tackle the situation. Although like people are alarmed, but let us have hope that the situation will be under control. In the sub-region, according to reports, Gambia is the least in terms of drug use and all this. But that does not mean we should be complacent. We should ensure that even we bring that figure to zero. So we will do our best as National Assembly members. We have started the work. As a committee responsible for security and defense, we have started this engagement, and we will continue to accompany them in this journey. Even tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, we are having a series of meetings which will result to a resolution that would decide what we're supposed to do. We will continue to support the security institutions to ensure that they live up to expectations, while we assure people that we and the securities will collaborate to ensure that this money is caught.
Thank you very much. Well, viewers, with that, we bring an end to this week's edition of your State of Affairs program. I was your host, Ali Sise. As I said, my guest this week, I had Commissioner Pa Bojang, who is the chairman of the Coast Task Force Committee. It was good to have you on the program, Mr. Bojang, Commissioner. And then, of course, Musa Baji, who is the National Assembly member for Talenting constituency and a member of the National Assembly Standing Committee on Defense and Security. It was good to have you on the program, gentlemen. Thank you so much for coming. Well, viewers, with that, we bring an end. Do join us next week. Until then, thank you so much for watching, and do have a wonderful night. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you.